You're listening to The Endless Party with your hosts,
Megan Elijah Armstrong. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 40 of The Endless Party. Today, we're going to share the principle of living each day in a day-tight compartment.
Yep.
And this is a principle that's actually taught by a plethora of successful
gurus,
people.
basically.
Yeah. Do you want to explain what it means, Lige?
It's just the understanding that you should never dwell on the past and look to the future, right? Yes, definitely set goals and aspire for greater and better things than you currently possess. But the understanding is simply that each day, all of your energy and all of your effort should go into accomplishing the tasks of that given day.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool because it helps you just to kind of lock into life in the day, and instead of, worrying about yesterday or tomorrow, you're just stuck in today, and your mindset is, what can I do today? How can I live my best life today? What does that look like?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, excuse me, Dale Carnegie or Andrew Carnegie? Dale Carnegie. He wrote a book called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. And the whole premise is basically this understanding that people worry themselves to death. Like literally the biggest reason for the health problems that most people have, I think it's over 70% are all mental problems, right?
Yes.
And those cause the physical problems. And the reason I bring this up is because a lot of times people worry to the point about things that may not ever and probably will never happen.
Right.
And because of that, they're worrying about the future. They're worrying about, okay, well, what if everything goes sideways tomorrow? Well, don't focus on tomorrow. Focus on today. Focus on what you can accomplish today at any given time. And it's kind of interesting because we've actually been really able to implement this principle into our own life, and it has done wonders.
I think it's totally been out of necessity, just out of our
absolutely
situation.
Seriously. So to illustrate this and why we've had to really implement this, it was like Meg said, out of necessity. It was like either we do this or nothing happens.
Yeah.
And this comes with the fact that we are pregnant with these two little angel babies. And they're, the exact term. They're
monochorionic diamniotic.
So it means that they're identical twins and they share a placenta but not an embryonic sac.
Yes.
So what this means is that it's a high-risk pregnancy. We've heard this every day since we found out that Meg was pregnant with twins.
Yes, and I'd just like to butt in that even though we've heard it so many times, I guess it just hasn't really registered with us, or we haven't allowed it to, because that would just create
panic.
So much worry because everybody tells us that it's high risk. Yeah, everybody tells us that it's high risk, and I guess we realize it, but I don't know. It's high risk in the fact that there's nothing that I or Elijah can do to lower the risk, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just high risk by nature. It's not high risk because of something I'm doing or not doing. It's just the nature of this pregnancy.
Well, the understanding is they share a placenta, and one placenta is usually engineered for one baby. Right? And so it gets to the point where the placenta is almost overworked because it's trying to grow two individual babies. So needless to say, our babies will be born a lot earlier rather than later because it's just too much on the placenta.
Right.
But so the reason I bring this up is because it's such a high-risk pregnancy, we were referred to specialists early on. And it was pretty funny because they were like, oh, yeah, you'll start seeing us bi-weekly.
Yeah,
we were
just every 2 weeks.
Okay, cool.
Once every 2 weeks.
That never happened. We immediately started seeing him weekly.
And mind you, this doctor's office is 45 minutes away. So every time we go, it's an hour and a half of driving, and then it's we're there
2 to
in the
5
office.
hour
yeah,
appointment.
We're in there so long.
Yeah.
So thankful for the medical monitoring. We're not complaining, but we spend our time at the doctor's.
Yeah, so like I said, it's a 2 to 5 hour appointment each time. Now, mind you, we also have an hour and a half of driving into that. So that ranges anywhere from, as short as 3.5 hours to as long as like 7 to 8 hours. Like, it's pretty crazy. But now, as the pregnancy has progressed, it gets to the point where it starts to get more and more risky, right? So then, now we see him, but now the appointments are even longer because Meg has to go through both the ultrasound and a non-stress test. Which, I'm going to be real, I don't really understand the non-stress test. I feel like it doesn't do much.
I feel like you can kind of gather it all from the ultrasound.
That's my thing. I'm like, okay, I think this is a bit excessive, but I'm not a doctor.
As parents, we're like, okay, we'll do anything to make sure our kids.
So Meg goes through all this testing, and obviously I go with her because I care more about her and our babies than anything else. So we go through all of that. Then we come to find out that we now need to go twice a week. Not to them, but we have to go here for a non-stress test as well as just the normal stuff that we have been attending. Now, on top of that, our other doctor wants to see us fairly often.
Yes.
Because that just makes sense. He's the one that's going to be delivering our kids. We got to keep him up to speed. So this week alone, I think we had, 3 or 4 appointments?
Yeah, 2 appointments.
We just had 2?
It just feels like it was 3 or 4 because it took our whole day.
Oh, that's right. They just took both 8-hour days.
We had 2 appointments, but we were at the doctor's for 5 hours each time.
Yeah. So all of this transpires, and now we're going to go see a specialist down in Salt Lake. And so that's even longer because it's 2.5 hours there. Then the appointment is minimum of 3 hours. Then it's 2.5 hours
with the
back.
Consultation. So it's another it's 5 hours of driving, 4 hours of doctor. So that's a 9-hour ordeal. And in this one, everything's great, but they're just going to check one of the baby's hearts a little bit.
Both of them. They're
checking both hearts, actually. And this appointment is going to tell us whether we get to deliver at the hospital that's 1 minute away from our house, or if we're going to deliver in the hospital that's 2.5 hours away to make sure our babies have the best care.
So I preface all of this, right? And like Meg said, we're not complaining in the slightest because we really enjoy the fact that people are caring about our kids as much as we would. But the understanding of this is the fact that we live each day in a date-tight compartment, or else we wouldn't get anything done and we'd be stressed out about our kids, right? We got the news that, they want to do a little bit more invasive, observation for these babies because they're a little worried about XYZ. So that's when we're going to Salt Lake. Now, we could fret over that and be incredibly worried, but that would do no good for me or Meg or the babies. And so we try to not push it out of our mind because of course we care about them, but we try to do everything that we can on the day. And that's really the whole principle that I was trying to get at with that long-winded explanation.
But also,
so I apologize
for that. I want
for
to have that all for I just want to remember all that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a lot. Like we said, we're grateful for it, but we basically live at the doctor.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. So I think just like Elijah said, I just have been trying to, as we've gotten into more appointments and they've been longer and they've taken up, the majority of our day, I think I've just been trying to focus on what I can do in that day. And, and I just have to be okay with the efforts that I can give and realize that it's enough, Because sometimes I get a little hard on myself and I'm like, man, why am I not being as productive or getting as much done as I would like to do?
Missing 5 to 8 hours, makes sense.
Well, it's our whole day, is gone. And then, because here's the thing, you get back and you've been poked and prodded and I don't know, maybe I'm just pansy, but I'm pretty tired.
Well, and usually here's what's interesting too. So Meg has to lay down for the ultrasound, and pregnant women can't lay on their back, and the reason for that is the nurse gave us a perfect a perfect illustration of that. You
She
can share
says
it.
it's like putting a bowling ball on a garden hose.
Yeah, and so what that means is there's this like valve or vein or something
Yeah, that
that
goes to
leads
your
directly to
heart.
the heart, and then the heart supplies everything with oxygen, right?
Mhm.
All the oxygenated blood.
Yeah.
Well, when you have the babies and you're laying on your back, it's cutting off that blood supply. So then all of a sudden you feel like you're going to pass out.
Yes.
And so she's on her back for like hours, right?
Yeah.
And she can like kind of be propped up on her side, but like it's not that comfortable.
No.
I mean, it's okay. And then you have somebody pushing this ultrasound as hard as they can to get a register on the
It's
baby.
like super emotional to like have to take in the news of your kids, I think.
Well, a
At
lot of
least for
times,
me.
yeah.
I try to stay calm, but it's just emotional because I just want them to have the best chance and to be healthy and to be happy. And if there's something that appears that is not going in that direction, then I don't know. I just get a little bit.
Yeah, and so it's a lot to deal with. But as Meg was expressing, one, this principle comes with the understanding that you need to cut yourself some slack at times when you have a lot going on. Maybe you didn't get everything done that you needed to get done, but as long as you got the most important things that you needed to get done, in addition to the things that take up your top priority, great. But then you can let go of some of the things that don't need as much attention.
Yeah, I agree.
So like we've had to learn that yes, absolutely do the things that are of utmost importance to you and your future and your family, but then be able to let go on those given days, not every day, but on a handful of days, that something more important like doctor's appointments that take up your time, and be able to just be like, okay, this is what I can give today, and that's enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I just want to like also emphasize a couple of other things about this principle. It's like, one, it's in the day to day that you're able to make your world. You shape your life hour by hour and day by day, and instead of looking towards, the future as, oh, I'll have made it when I have X, Y, and Z. It's like, no, it's all about the world that you're making today.
It right now. Yeah.
It's not all about the world you're going to make. It's all about the world that you're making today. What are your choices doing today? And I think too, there's just something so beautiful about this principle too, because it helps you to just focus on the journey. And I don't know, I just think it's important to like not lose sight of that, because it just can get so easily lost in the rush and the hustle and bustle of life. And I think we're learning that, as our schedules have gotten a little bit more busy with, the medical appointments. And then the last thing I wanted to say is, I think the thing that has kept us so grounded and so okay as our schedules have been thrown through a loop is the fact that we get up and we do, we take every day, I can actually say this, we are getting up before all the appointments and before the crazy day begins, and we take time to be still, and we take time to exercise, and we take time to take care of ourselves. And I think without this, I would be going nuts right now.
No,
but
absolutely.
because we do that, it's like, I don't know, and that helps me live in the day tight compartment too, because I just start my day off so right that it makes it more, I don't know, it's just easier for me to just accept the events of the day as they like go on.
Well, and that was my whole premise, is that you need to make sure you're taking the things that are of utmost importance. And for us, those are the things that we're taking care of our health spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And we have to do that every single day. And I think, I believe and I know that everybody needs to take care of those things on an everyday basis. And for us, they are of utmost importance. And I think if everybody was able to pattern their lives on that understanding, they would be the utmost importance to them as well. But like Meg said, by doing those, taking care of those 4 areas of our life, we're able to handle everything else that comes our way, and that we're able to live each day truly in a day-tight compartment. And I just want to reemphasize the understanding that Yes, set lofty goals for yourself. Yes, dream about the future. That's one of the things that me and Meg love to do. But realize that, like Meg said, you build that future day by day. It's not going to be some monumental event that you accomplish just willy-nilly. It's the small and simple things on a daily basis, and that's only accomplished by focusing on the small things that you can do each day, not focusing on the giant thing you can accomplish over a month or a year or 10 years.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. I think that's all I wanted to share today, so.
Cool. Well, live each day in a date tight compartment, guys.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
Okay, thanks, guys. Bye. You've been listening to The Endless Party. Please feel free to join us over at our website, theendlessparty.com, for more of our content. Also, we would love to hear from you. Leave some comments and let us know what you're interested in us talking about.
Seriously, like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, whatever it is the platform says to do, so that we can keep partying together.